Morning, PJ.
Morning.
We have good news and lackluster news. The good news is, as you can see, this seems to be my computer, and in theory it's fixed. The lackluster news is, they sort of sent it back to me without chatting to me about much of the issues, and I didn't get to hear much about it or about the testing process. And also I was told it would be sent to me in a nice big wooden crate, and it wasn't, so that's lackluster. But the most important thing is I have my computer and I can open it up and hopefully use today to... I'm probably not going to transition back to it today, or at least start it today. I want to plug it into the spare monitor and just run a whole bunch of crap on it all day and just make sure it's not going to die on me, because if it does, I'm going to spew flames of vengeance and fury and name and shame and be very loudly disappointed. I really hope it works, PJ. Oh, never leave me again, baby. Why do you have to hurt me like this?
Said that they replaced the motherboard.
They replaced the motherboard. So hopefully that will fix the issue. It was a hardware issue and it wasn't RAM. So it should have been the motherboard. I hope it wasn't a compatibility issue. Doesn't matter. Anyways, let's get this plugged in. Switch it on. Press the on button. You gotta be kidding me. No, okay, that was just a scare. That was just a scare. That was not funny! I hope that doesn't happen again. So I'm going to finalise a few edits on the computer that I've been working on temporarily during the day, but this is the monitor hooked up to my computer, which I'm going to use to open up the previous projects I had on here and run a whole bunch of, I don't know, heavy duty stress testing, I guess you could say. The sort of stuff that was crashing it before, I'm going to throw at it all day before I'm confident enough to actually set it up again. And this is exactly where I left off. I was trying to apply a warp stabilizer to this camera shot. So I'm going to do that now. Click Analyze, and I'm going to keep Task Manager opened while it does that, and just watch what the CPU and RAM does. As you can see, there are 14 cores and I have 64 gig of RAM. And it's working on it in the background. We're at what, 12%, 13%. It's going through at pretty decent pace and not going too crazy on the CPU or memory. So that's good, because it did use it more heavily before I sent it into, well, before it died. So that's a good sign. So we're at 96, 97. So we're nearly finished just the warp stabilization. The CPU and memory haven't really gone much higher than that. We've sat at what, 15, 16% in the memory and haven't gone over 10% on the CPU. So I don't know, this seems to be just a different computer. The motherboard I had must have been faulty from the start, because the memory was always sitting up at like 80, 90% when doing stuff like that. And the CPU was always quite high as well. So the motherboard, which they found a fault with, I guess wasn't utilizing the components well at all, and that must have been why it was dying. Alright, test number 2. I have grabbed the action cam of PJ holding the cam when I was unboxing my super suit, because I'm going to apply the warp stabilizer to the entirety of this filming session, which, as you can see, is 43 minutes long. So this is going to take a long time for it to apply, and it's going to be a lot of work, because if I just play through any part of this, you can see there's a lot of motion that it needs to calculate to smooth. What the warp stabilizer does is it takes any of the sort of slightly shakiness and it crops in and just smooths it out, and you can choose how much it does that. So it's going to be doing a lot of work, because there are parts in this filming where the camera sort of moves rapidly or bumps around a lot. So there's a lot to go through. I'm just going to drag this over here and I'm going to leave it running in the background and just watch what the computer is doing. Wait, no, that's wave warp. I don't want to do that. Warp stabilizer, there we go. So I'll just drag this across and like I said, open up this and just watch what percentage it's at and what the computer's doing in the background while I get to work on this computer. Okay, so now back to the stress testing update. I ran the warp stabilizer on the 43-minute long clip with a lot of motion. Normally clips that are like 30 seconds long still take like a minute or two, so it took a long time. It took about 2.5 hours to warp stabilize the whole thing. It doesn't look like anything, it just has like, you know, extreme cropping warning, so it doesn't even show us anything. The main thing is the function, the process that kept crashing my computer most reliably has been running at high intensity for 2.5 hours, and the computer is fine. Now we're back to 1% CPU usage, and memory is going back down, but only peaked at like 78%. So, I mean, they're all good signs. Okay, so that was probably the most boring vlog you've ever seen. That was the majority of my day today. Aside from, you know, fixing computer stuff, I have a whole list of tasks that I've been trying to work on and not accomplishing many of them. So unfortunately next week I'll only have 2 videos coming out as opposed to 3, but otherwise our pre-preparation for content is on track and we will have 3 videos prepped for the week after that. So considering the fact that we've been dealing with a broken computer, some issues with the file transferring and having deleted an entire edit from the start, and the dots video taking 5 days as opposed to 1, which I'd scheduled for, I think that's pretty damn good. Speaking of good upcoming content, the one thing we have had fate on our side for is deliveries coming right on time. I had scheduled to do a video working with a new Huron product tomorrow, and it so happened that this arrived in the mail today. So I'm going to be using the Canvas Pro 13. This is their brand new sexy display tablet. It looks amazing, and I will give you a bit of a thorough walkthrough of my experience using this thing in tomorrow's vlog, and maybe, I don't know, let me know if you think a review would go down well in the future. But it's really affordable and it looks really, like, spec-wise, looks amazing. So that'll be really fun, and we'll be jumping into that tomorrow. And I also got this arrive in the mail today, which is gonna, of course, be very useful for our future videos. Some teeny weeny pencils. And they look pretty amazing. So that's another future video. I'll tuck them away on the side. This was actually suggested by one of you guys in a tweet, I think. So whoever you are, thank you. I watch, I listen, I take things on board, and sometimes I even put them into practice. Alright, I'm going to wrap up with a quick question of the day. Linda Gale Lamb says, what are your plans for VidCon, and are you doing anything special like the one-man band challenge last year? As you can imagine, I haven't had enough time to prep like I did last year. However, I am doing lots of special stuff, just less prepared. I have a couple of awesome collabs prepared that I'll be doing in private time with a couple of awesome YouTubers, which I won't reveal yet, but some of them I've collabed with before and some I haven't, but have become friends with, so you'll see those in the future, and hopefully I'll vlog them through the course of VidCon. But as far as events at VidCon, I'm doing a couple of panels. I'm doing, I'll link to my profile, my VidCon Australia profile in the description, so you can check out the stuff that's publicly listed. I know I'm doing a meet and greet. I think it's probably too late to get into the raffle for that, but I'm doing 2 performances. The first is the kickoff show that I'm doing with at least Jaden Animations and Mars, and there might be some other people involved, might not, but that's going to be amazing. Bit of a drawing showdown. And then I'm also going to be doing a standalone performance. I'm going to be doing a live YouTuber superhero creation with you guys on stage in the featured creator show. So I think there's some pretty amazing stuff to look forward to. If you haven't gotten your VidCon Australia tickets yet and you live in Australia or you are able to come, what is wrong with you? It's going to be so good. So come say hi, because I will walk around a little bit at some points as well, and there'll be chances to see me and come to my panels and all that stuff. Anyways, that's it for today. The good news is the computer has withstood all the stress testing I've thrown at it, and I've just finished transferring all the files that I've created in the few weeks that I've not had access to that computer. I'm sorry for the lackluster video today, but the good news is we're back on track. Well, as on track as we can be, considering the difficult circumstances we've gotten through. But it seems like we've gotten through them. Knock on wood. Bye!